Hey there guys, I'm back to another video. Today I just want to talk about Spider-Man PlayStation 4 because this is by far my most excited game for this year, which I obviously did put it on my top 10 most anticipated games of this year. And after the news that has come out since the beginning of April related to this game, I have just become more and more excited for this game because Game Informer has been doing a lot of coverage on this game throughout the month of April. So we'll get into some of that stuff and then some of the new stuff that I did not get to cover within my podcast last week because that news wasn't even out yet. So, but yeah, this first part of the video is going to be me retreading certain things that I talked about in the podcast, but I just want to go and, re-solidify certain things that I said within that podcast episode. So anyways, let's dive into, obviously, the release date and the different editions that this game is going to come with. So first up, September 7th is going to be the release date for Spider-Man PlayStation 4, launching exclusively on there, obviously. And in my opinion, I think that is a fine release window. I would have loved to play it, in like the summer, June, July, maybe even August. But if they think that September 7th is, where they, need to set themselves, that's fine by me. It's just because I am just so goddamn excited for this game. I can't remember the last time I've been hyped for a game. I think the last one was Infamous 2, if I can remember correctly, just because there have been games that I played since then where I've been like, yeah, this is a really, really good game like The Last of Us, but I wasn't hyped for it, like I didn't even anticipate myself buying that game. It just happened that, a lot of good reviews came out and a lot of people saying that it's a really, really good game. So I was like, let me buy it. Played it and I just instantly fell in love with it. But yeah, I've just never been this hyped for a game in a very, very long time. So going back to the release window or the release date, I should say, it's fine. September 7th is a good day, especially, Friday. I think that Friday is becoming a much more streamlined or much more common for game developers to choose a Friday release date and not a Tuesday now. So I think that is pretty cool. The box art for the game was also revealed. Personally, I don't like it. And the funny thing is, if you look at the PlayStation blog article, which I will put in the description below, Insomniac has a history of excellent game covers, from Ratchet & Clank Future of Crack in Time to the bold Ollie Muss of Resistance 3 cover. I will agree that Resistance 3 had a pretty good cover, but Ratchet & Clank A Crack in Time, like, come on, you could have picked any other Ratchet & Clank game to go and, say that was a pretty good cover, but A Crack in Time, I don't think that one had a good cover, in my opinion. And even this one, I don't even think it's that great either, I wish that they used more colors, maybe more screenshots from the game or something like that. I have no idea what they could have done here personally right now, but I feel like that there should have been more colors other than just red and the blue with the PlayStation box and the obviously top part where it says PS4. But that's just my opinion, and I'll just leave it at that. So moving on, there are different editions you can purchase. Obviously, the standard edition that's going to be retailing at $59.99. It's just the game, retail and digital. But there's also a digital deluxe edition, which gives you the full game download, a pre-order bonus, exclusive physical pin sort of thing, and then post DLC content. Now, post DLC content for a single player game, I think is fine. When you talk about DLC, a lot of people shame it, I feel, just because there's been a lot of history of just game developers abusing DLC in negative ways just to get a increase in revenue, which I can definitely see why. But I feel like with a company like Insomniac Games, who hasn't really done that yet, and with a game like this, that's a single player focused game that's very mission based, open world sort of, or it pretty much is a open world game. I think that post launch DLC is completely fine. Especially since, like we saw with Zelda Breath of the Wild, that's sort of like an open world game. You could pretty much do whatever you want within the vast world. And they had post-launch DLC, and I think that did pretty fine on its own. So, yeah, I think that, the City That Never Sleeps DLC that is with the Digital Deluxe Edition is, a fine decision by them. But I could definitely understand why people are a little upset about that. And then, obviously, they had a Collector's Edition, which I did pre-order because I'm that excited for the game. It's going to have a statue, a steelbook, a mini art book, and a sticker along with the City That Never Sleeps DLC. There's also pre-order bonuses. If you pre-order the game, you get a Spider-Punk suit along with 2 others that they have yet to reveal, the Spider Drone gadget, and then a PSN avatar, a PlayStation 4 theme, and 5 extra skill points. Personally, I love the pre-order bonuses. They're just like little extra things, but I feel like the 5 extra skill points is where I kind of draw the line. I mean, I guess you could say that the Spider Drone is sort of like an extra thing as well that'll affect your gameplay, but we'll just have to go and wait and see until the full game comes out, to those that pre-ordered it and to those that didn't, see if their experiences are different. So but yeah, the collector's edition, like I said, I pre-ordered it and I'm very, very excited for this game, if I did not already reiterate that. So now let's jump into some of the Game Informer stuff. The 114 rapid questions with the creative director. So he pretty much answered a bunch of just silly questions, but some of them were actually very serious towards the game. So I'm pretty much going to be summing up those thanks to Nibel's tweets, which I will put in the description below. So 30 FPS on the base/pro models of the PlayStation 4. This game is several times larger than Sunset Overdrive. Hell no to microtransactions, so you don't have to worry about that other than the post-launch DLC. There is a fast travel system through the subway. MJ is playable. Obviously, post content is planned. There's a photo mode. No major characters or no major original characters will be included, so they're only focusing on already created Marvel characters. Citizens can be interacted with, high five, selfie, salute, and Spidey doesn't die instantly in water. So so the main things that I got from this was that the FPS. So it's going to be 30 on the base and the pro. I guess they tested it out on the pro and they were like, I guess we can't run it at 60 still. So they're just going to keep it at a steady 30, which is completely fine because, with a game like Spider-Man, when you're swinging through the city so fast and you just notice the frame rate drops, that's just going to look really bad. So I guess they just decided to cap it at 30 just to make sure that the game runs smooth and, it doesn't lag when you're just playing the game. MJ being playable, that is a very interesting fact. I guess it's going to be in certain like story missions, where you'll be like, Peter needs help and, MJ has to do certain things to, help him out or whatever. So that's what I'm assuming that they're doing. And then no major original characters. So I think that is pretty cool. If you're a huge Spidey fan that knows all of his villains, all of his, characters, you'll pretty much know everyone. As a Spidey fan myself, I'm not exactly that into Spider-Man, but I know of his characters and his main villains. When I saw Mr. Negative, I was like, who the hell is this guy? But he's a much more recent villain that has been added into the Spider-Man universe. So I think that the 114 rapid questions video is definitely very entertaining. You could check that out in the description below. So now let's get into some of the new stuff that I've yet to talk about on my podcast. The web slinging and the combat. So first up, the web slinging. Obviously, they wanted to go and make sure that the web swinging was done right. That was the first thing that they tackled, according to them, and it looks like it's going to be great. They always emphasize that this is a veteran Spider-Man. He's been doing this for a very, very long time. He didn't just get bit by the spider and now suddenly he's Spider-Man. He's been doing this for several years. So you see that within the web swinging. He knows where to go. He knows, how to move, and the momentum and the physics and all that stuff just looks great. The fact that they thought about, this is a veteran Spider-Man. He won't stop at a dead end when he hits a building. He'll just climb up it, which definitely makes sense. And the fact that you could, use certain objects and certain signs on the buildings to perch to and all this other stuff. This game looks like it's going to be very, very momentum based. And, personally, when I get my hands on this game, I'm never going to use the fast travel system just because I feel like that web swinging in this game is just going to be so much fun. And being able to climb up walls, or run along the side of buildings as well. All that stuff is going to be very, very cool. And I cannot wait to go and see what else, in terms of the gameplay they have to offer. So now let's get into the combat. So one thing that I heard a lot of criticism for when it came to the combat with the E3 gameplay is that this game looks like it's got a lot of QTEs and it looks like it's kind of like a ripoff of, Arkham, Arkham Asylum, the Batman games that were made by Rocksteady. So one thing that I wanted to go and address in this video is that, when you talk about other superhero games and melee combats involved, everyone's going to compare it to Arkham. No matter what, no matter how good it looks, they're always going to compare it to Arkham. And with this video, with this gameplay that we saw within the on how the combat works in Spider-Man PlayStation 4, I think it shut all of those people up, because the combat does not look like a Arkham game, because it's not a combo focus, not at all. It's mainly about using gadgets and using different, moves and techniques to go and get your opponents, down and all that stuff. So I really love that, they're emphasizing the abilities that Spider-Man can use, with his webs, with his different gadgets and all this stuff. It's going to be very, very cool to go and see what kind of things Spider-Man can do once you actually get to play the game. So obviously, I'm very happy that Insomniac Games, they didn't just look at Arkham and be like, we need to replicate this. They were like, this is Spider-Man we're talking about. He has webs, he has gadgets that he can use, so let's try to use that to our advantage. When it comes to Batman, in the Arkham series, you don't really use the gadgets when you're fighting people. You're mainly, punching them and, trying to use counterattacks and all this stuff. So with Spider-Man PlayStation 4, I'm glad that they are using all of his tools and all of his, strengths as a character to their advantage when it comes to the gameplay. And it looks like it's very fun, very smooth, and obviously, I cannot wait to go and play this game for myself once it launches September 7th. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for this game. The combat for this game, like I just said, it looks great. The web slinging just looks very, very fun, and I think that a lot of people can agree with me on that. But, if you have an opinion of your own, very similar to mine, or maybe even different from mine, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I read all my comments. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have not already, you can subscribe. I put new videos up every single Saturday. Want to follow my social media accounts, Facebook and Twitter, you can do that as well. And tomorrow I will be live streaming God of War Ascension at 12 p.m. EST. I will be playing that for the first time ever. I actually have owned the game for several years, but I've just never played it. So yeah, I'm going to be playing that and hopefully getting a review for you guys out by next week. So that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video again, and I'll see you guys next time with more videos. Game on, gamers.